Welcome to Sex Kitten Chronicles. In this series of chronicles, we're going to expose women in the music industry who is under monarch programming, which comes from MK Ultra, used by the CIA. Also, what springs forth from MK Ultra is beta programming, which is in return sex kitten programming. The purpose for these programmings in the entertainment industry is to degrade and snuff out the way the world see women. These women are modern day witches, and these spells are produced in their music and videos. These women are slaves to the elite, used as puppets to conquer and tear down moral standards in the world. We will touch on the most famous women of the industry who sold their soul for wealth and prosperity and fame, and have launched an attack upon the moral standards of God, and they are here to help bridge the way for the new world order. Therefore, in this chronicle, we will touch on a long overdue subject concerning Cardi B. Welcome to Sex Kitten Cardi B Chronicles. Welcome back to another episode of the Pastor's Chronicles. Before we get started, I would like to invite you to click the link below and join me on Facebook, the Pastor's Chronicles. Also, I would like for you to follow me on Instagram, where you have a lot of updates there. And also join me on my platform, the Pastor's Chronicles. And you can subscribe to that too. And also I want you to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Click the bell so you can get updates and whatnot, so you won't. And I'm dropping right now Tuesdays and Thursdays, and so people, please come back. And I usually drop around 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come through and check me out, because people are not getting notifications. Upon that note, let's get started with the next part of this chronicles, and we're going to start this chronicle off like this. Before we go on with the next part of this series of the Sex Kitten, let us do a recap of the former video. Stay tuned.
Cardi had some really great ideas to get me started on the project. She really was excited to create something fun and something that could take the lyrics and elevate it to just make an experience. You start seeing people's reactions and you're like, okay, I think we were right here.
I said certified free, 7 days a week, wet and gushy, make that pull out game.
I did a chronicle on this, the Snoop Dogg Chronicle, and I will have it down in the description below. But the lightning bolt is a satanic worshippers' identity. This is 777, famed by Aleister Crowley, who wrote the Guide to the Witchcraft and Satanic Worship. Crowley so hated God that he named himself 777, I guess because 666 was already taken. Crowley's instruction to his followers was that they learn to speak, write, walk backwards as a means to open themselves to hear from the demonic realm. Satanic S presents a lightning bolt when kicked out of heaven. Lucifer fell to the earth like a lightning bolt. In satanic circles, this symbol represents the destroyer. This S has also been used by Nazis, Germany, SS, police, as well as the once popular 70s and 80s heavy metal band Kiss. So therefore, I'm going to show you some clips from a chronicle I did on Snoop Dogg pertaining to this lightning bolt, or SSS, or as Aleister Crowley put it, 777. And then you will understand about Mr. Tilly, the one is creating these satanic videos, and you will understand the message that he's given, even from his apparel. In the Church of Satan, this pentagram is called the Anton LaVey Siegel, because for a while he was using it as a personal symbol. It was also used for a time to denote rank within the church. Some Satanists also use the lightning bolt pentagram. It represents power and life force, descending from Satan into matter. Also known as the Satanic S, the lightning bolt is a symbol of supernatural power, punishment, and destruction. It signifies the ability and right to inflict harm on others. Think of the Nazi SS uniforms, which promptly featured double lightning bolts, afflicting harm on others. So this man is wearing this, singing the gospel song amongst the gospel or professed Christians. So if it means ability and right to inflict harm on others, what do you think he doing to the church? Remember, in Luke 10:18, it represents Satan as found in that scripture. And Jesus said, I beheld Satan as lightning falling from heaven. Therefore, Satan's followers honor him by displaying the lightning bolt on their clothes, rings, whatever, their banners, even their faces, as shown in the photo with Lady Gaga and this individual here. Satanists love to use a lightning or thunderbolt, also called satanic S, to give homage to who they serve. So this man is giving homage to who he serves. So now you get the concept, people. We just broke down the blue and red, which represents duality. Basically, he's saying that good cannot live without evil. Vice versa, evil cannot live without good, and that they both are the same. This is why it's easy for this man to create Luciferian videos, because in his mind he believed that he's doing good and evil. You know, that is all the same, and the lightning bolt represents Satan. So he is a Luciferian and he's doing the work of Satan. Now let's break down the skull. I also want to leave in the description box more of the content that I did on Snoop Dogg, very, very deep chronicle. So check that out. And so let's get into the skull and bone. Okay, I'm sure you all know about that, but I just want, just for those who don't know nothing about it, let's get into that.
In a place where tomorrow's leaders are groomed.
Where did Mr. McNamara learn to row?
The local sewers, I imagine. He's a townie.
He won us the Ivy League championship 3 years in a row. That's all I know.
In an organization.
Are you ready to be reborn?
Where success is assured.
Our membership has its pleasures, its hardships, and sometimes its pain.
We live by the rules, we die by the rules.
Gentlemen, welcome home.
Luke McNamara is about to get an opportunity.
A skull above any other.
He's only dreamed of.
Senator, it's a pleasure to meet you. What do you think of all this? To be honest, it's all a little bit overwhelming.
But if a secret society can give you everything you desire.
This is your pre-acceptance to the law school of your choice.
That's gotta be a mistake.
You are a skull.
Imagine what they can take away.
None of us are safe.
What are you gonna do?
We live by the rules, we die by the rules.
I want to know the truth about what happened that night.
The surveillance cameras, so there's gotta be tapes. Can you get any closer on this? Closer.
I know what you did.
It's time we remove Mr. McNamara. He's no longer loyal.
If you keep digging, you're gonna dig your own grave.
Only an elite few ever get in.
I have evidence.
They erased the tape. Who? The skulls. They control everything.
No one has ever gotten out.
They're dead.
If it's secret and elite, it can't be good.
Would you like your life back, Luke?
Skull and Bones and George Bush Sr. have both been linked to the euthogenics movement, belief in the superiority of the Anglo-Saxon race. And fellow Bonesian, Avril Harriman, has been strongly implicated with US business funding for Hitler in the 1930s.
Are they done? No, there's all that tradition, and it has to be protected, and it has great wealth to protect. And how do they protect it? They'll find new means. They'll hold offices, they'll hold appointive offices and elective offices, and they will be in charge of huge amounts of money.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
The Skull and Bones is a secret society founded at Yale University in 1832. The Bonesmen, as they're called, choose their initiates just like Freemasonry. In fact, the only way one can join the Skull and Bones is if one is invited by inside members. Every year, only 15 members are allowed to enter, which is very mysterious because many popular figures throughout history have been members of this secret society. 3 famous United States presidents have been Bonesmen, such as William H. Taft, George H.W. Bush, and his son George W. Bush. Many U.S. senators are also Bonesmen, such as Prescott Bush, John Kerry, John Chafee, Jonathan Bingham, David Boren, John Sherman Cooper, Chauncey Depew, William Maxwell Evarts, James L. Buckley, Robert A. Taft, Frank Bosworth Brandegee, John Hines, and John Patton Jr. were all members of the Skull and Bones. 5 U.S. governors, 3 congressmen, 5 Supreme Court justices, Pierre J., the first chairman of the New York Federal Reserve, and George L. Harrison, the president of the New York Federal Reserve, were all Skull and Bonesmen. The Bushes have long been pillars of the infamous Skull and Bones Society, based in a windowless mausoleum known as the Tomb, alongside the campus at Yale University at New Haven in Connecticut. Every year, 15 bloodline students are initiated into the Skull and Bones Society, and the ratio of Skull and Bones initiates who end up in positions of power in politics, banking and business, media, and intelligence agencies in the United States, in front of camera and behind the scenes, is massively greater than the general student population. David Icke, Alice in Wonderland and the World Trade Center. At Yale campus, the Skull and Bones building is known as the Tomb, being decorated in skulls, bones, swords, knives, armor, death, blood, and darkness. It is here that they perform their bizarre and sexually ritualistic initiations. Sometimes, ear-piercing screams can be heard coming from this building. In 2001, ABC News, along with the New York Observer, filmed an imitation throat-cutting ritual being performed by the Bonesmen.
The videotape provides a grainy glimpse into what appear to be the initiation rituals of a secret society that's been around since 1832, whose members have gone on to be leaders of Wall Street and the White House, the Senate and the Supreme Court.
They're sort of trying to scare the initiates, make them, disorient them, frighten them.
New York Observer investigative reporter Ron Rosenbaum accompanied a team of Yale students who shot these pictures 9 days ago. Rosenbaum's curiosity about Skull and Bones was permanently piqued when, as a classmate of George W. Bush, he lived right next to the Tomb, the group's heavily fortified home. From their perch, Rosenbaum and his cohorts taped the Tomb's courtyard. What they captured, they say, was initiates, known as neophytes, being forced to kiss a skull, then members performing a mock killing. It may look like your average fraternity nonsense, but Rosenbaum says it's not.
Even though it may seem silly to us, it seems to mean something to them, and you can't argue with the success of Skull and Bones.
True. Famous alums include Senators John Kerry and John Chafee, to name two, cabinet secretaries such as Averell Harriman, and 3 presidents, William Taft, George Bush, and George W. Bush, who's been reluctant to talk about Skull and Bones.
Does it still exist? The thing is so secret, I'm not even sure it still exists.
Rosenbaum says the tape is a valuable artifact, an extremely rare view into the secret society that groomed the American ruling class for generations.
Rumors of the latest rituals say that a newly accepted initiate must lie down naked in a casket and masturbate while the other members watch gathered in a circle. The Skull and Bones are known for their odd and sexually promiscuous rituals, but many don't know of the horrific and evil acts committed by these members throughout our government. David Icke once wrote, "In May 1918, Prescott Bush and 5 other Skull and Bones men ransacked the grave at Fort Sill, Oklahoma. They took turns to stand guard while others robbed the grave and took away artifacts and Geronimo's skull. This was taken to the Skull and Bones headquarters at Yale, where it is used in their sick rituals and ceremonies. This horrible story is told in an international history of the Skull and Bones Society and was quoted to Ned Anderson, the tribal chairman of the San Carlos Apache tribe, when he was negotiating to have Geronimo's remains returned to the tribe's custody. A 1989 article in the New Yorker said, one bonesman recalled during the early 70s seeing perhaps 30 skulls, not all of them human, scattered about the tomb at Yale. This is the mentality of the people running our world. Every Skull and Bonesman has been incredibly successful and put at great powers in our government. President Bush tapped 5 bonesmen, including William Donaldson, the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission, to join his administration. John Kerry, class of 1966, became Senator and Secretary of State. Henry Luce, the founder of Time magazine, Life, Fortune, Home, and Sports Illustrated, was a bonesman. General Manager of the New York Times, Amory Howe Bradford, was a bonesman, class of 1934, and married Carol Warburg Rothschild. Percy Rockefeller, class of 1900, was a wealthy businessman and sat on directors' boards for many corporations. Richard Gow, president of George Bush's Zapata Oil Company, was a bonesman, class of 1955. Alexandra Robbins, in a CBS interview, stated, "They do have many individuals in influential positions, and that's why this is something that we need to know about." The Skull and Bones, being interleaked with many government branches, is also connected to the CIA. Many powerful bonesmen in our government were very much involved in the CIA. The Central Intelligence Agency is widely known for its shadowy acts and strange positions it holds in government power. Many bonesmen have graduated with CIA and intelligence community jobs waiting for them too. F. Truby Davison, Howard Weaver, William Sloane Coffin Jr., V. Van Dyne, James Buckley, Bill Buckley, Hugh Cunningham, Hugh Wilson, Reuben Holden, Charles R. Walker, Robert D. French, Archibald MacLeish, Dino Pionzio, William and McGeorge Bundy, Richard Moore, and George Bush are all bonesmen with U.S. intelligence agency jobs. Eric Dubé, The Atlantean Conspiracy. The Skull and Bones Society, along with the Bush family, put illegal drugs such as heroin and cocaine on the streets of the U.S. and the rest of the world. The Illuminati families in America and Britain launched an international drug trade and still maintain it today. Through their power in government agencies, they wipe out opposition, and this is exactly what you see when you watch a big drug bust on the news. Controlling the drug trade is a huge step to gaining financial power and is also a key factor in keeping parts of the world poor, unhealthy, and in poverty. The Skull and Bones Society has branches of power throughout the government, and Bushes were just one of the biggest families to be involved in the drug trade. David Icke once wrote, "The Skull and Bones Society is owned by the Russell Trust, an organization controlled by the Russells, a drug-running bloodline family. They flew the Skull and Bones flag on their ships as they transported drugs from the British Empire, from Turkey to China, and elsewhere during the Opium Wars of the 19th century. The Skull and Bones is an ancient Illuminati symbol used in its sacrificial rituals and secret language, not least by the Knights Templar. The Skull and Bones is a very well-hidden secret society that has infiltrated many positions of power in the U.S. government. One of their greatest methods of manipulation is the bipartisan Republican-Democrat system, in which they present two political figures from two different parties, and the American people have an election where they vote for which candidate they like more. This is clearly giving the illusion of choice to the population. They control both parties. They control the entire system. Yet I am supposed to believe that just by voting for one of their controlled puppets, that somehow everything is going to change? What are the chances that out of 300 million people, the two elected candidates would be related and both members of the same secret society? This is not a coincidence. It is reality. The Skull and Bones have taken big positions in power and have paved the way for the New World Order. They control both parties of the political system and have members in different sections of the government. In a 1992 interview with reporter Sarah McClendon, George H.W. Bush stated, "If the American people ever find out what we, the Bushes, have done, they would chase us down the street and lynch us."
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go
I'm
wild.
sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the web.
Number
page.
322?
First of all, he's not the nominee. And, look, I look forward...
Are you prepared to lose?
No, I'm not going to lose.
You both were members of Skull and Bones, a secret society at Yale. What does that tell us?
Not much, because it's a secret.
Excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary.
That's good.
The Skull and Bones today is one of a number of groups. It happens to be now a semi-secret group. If this is one secret organization, and I was fortunate enough to get the membership list, how do I know, or anybody know, there are not other secret groups where I have not, or nobody else has had the membership list? So we also have to take the hypothesis in mind that there could be other groups which are truly secret. Nobody here is aware of their existence, which have this ultimate purpose.
90% of this is all practical. The set was really, really massive. But what we did add in post was this water right here dripping through different doorways. We had, on some of the close-ups of these sculptures, we had water dripping or pouring off of them. And then you'll see, too, on this particular shot, actually, the back wall is capped. But in a majority of the shots, I actually tried to make this hallway feel endless. I work really closely with my design team.
So you notice he said his whole objective was to make the hallway endless. And even in the hallway, you can see the designs of the thunder or the lightning bolt or 777 going all the way down Aleister Crowley. So people, now you understand that this man is a straight Luciferian. And so all the subliminal messages that he put in there, all these satanic messages and that he put in this video with Cardi B, is only to degrade the mind, condition the mind to receiving the mark of the beast, people. That what they're pushing on the masses is that it's okay to be sinful. And look at his shirt, steal your what? What is Satan is doing? Stealing your salvation. He wants to steal your soul. He wants you to sell your soul like his puppets. Even if you look at his painting, man, everything is set in order. Even look at his pillow with the black and white duality, the zebra stripes, or the triangle upside down triangle. You can see that on the right side of this this image, his pillow. Then on the left side is the red, and it also looked like a blue color. So people, everything is set up. These people are dedicated to what they do, and everything they do is surrounded by symbols. And of course, these symbols have satanic agendas behind it. They are portals for spirits to come through and communicate to them. And I guarantee you, of course, we know that what we read, or what I said earlier about that the lightning bolt is also, Aleister Crowley, 777. He says that everything is done backwards. You can communicate or conversate to demonic spirits. So believe me, a demonic spirit gave this man this vision to put together a video to degrade the generations that's coming behind us, to keep people's mind polluted. So it will be nothing for them to receive the mark of the beast, and it will be nothing for them to go after those who will refuse to receive the mark of the beast. And around that time, the saints of God will go through what Elijah went through when Jezebel came after Elijah to destroy him. So what's happening is, even look at his hands. He's right there. He's creating what? A pyramid. I mean, they do it all, And those that have been programmed, what they're trying to do is prepare the masses to become zombies through these satanic puppets. Through these satanic puppets. These satanic puppets. I mean, look at this, people. On the next chronicle, we want to touch on all these things that's in this video, so we can take away the glamour and the glory from this, and give people the opportunity to see Satan in this music video, so they can have a chance to turn from him. You see that, y'all? You saw that, right? See the lightning bolts on the ground? The same lightning bolt that's on that skull on his shirt. And also the serpents also represent Satan. Okay? So even the pink and yellow is also, and I'm not saying you can't wear pink and yellow, but they wearing it for a reason. There's a message in it. There's a demonic spirit in it, communicating to them, controlling them. And these women are on the Monarch program. How many women you know will be laying there with a bunch of snakes? These women are under MK Ultra, or what I may say, beta programming. Until next time, people, may the Lord bless you. And also, please share this video. Share this video to everybody, everywhere. God bless. Peace.